Today we are going to learn how to grow microgreens together. I haven't grown them before, but we'll give it a go. So first of all, you need to gather all of your equipment, and I guess to make it as easy as possible today, because I'm going to experiment, I have just gone for these little plastic containers that come from the bottom of your fruit, veggies, biscuits or meat products, whatever, but you must wash and make sure that they're very clean before you use them. Now for this experiment I'm going to try 3 different types of propagation. One is with the coir, which is a coconut husk, perlite, which comes from volcanic rocks, and also a seed raising mix. Now all of these were fairly cheap, but I'd say that the coir is going to be the cheapest. That's about $4.60 Australian for a block, which makes about 15 litres. Now this perlite was about $8 for 5 litres, and this seed raising mix was about $7, and that's got 10 litres in it. And you will also need a spray bottle. So relatively speaking, for this experiment it's probably cost me under $20. You will also need some seeds. I've got radish seeds, alfalfa seeds, and some basil seeds. But today I'm actually going to use the alfalfas because I want to see which of these 3 actually propagate the best. And just so you know, that all 3 of these come with a health warning about breathing in the spores. Okay, so you should wear a mask, a dust mask. Okay, I've got my first tray ready, and I think I'll put the perlite in that so you can see what it looks like. I've actually put everything on a plastic bag so I don't make a mess of my husband's bar. Okay, so perlite, as you can see, is very light. I'm just going to put about that much in there. It actually reminds me of the the styrofoam that you have like with your eskies and all that sort of thing. And now I'm just going to put a bit of water in there. I want it to be damp but not wet. And this will probably absorb quite a bit of water, I would think. And I might just leave it at that. Actually it feels quite nice. You might see how it's just touching my hands, it's just sticking to me. I'll just put a little bit more, just to be on the safe side. Okay, you can hear my dogs going off. There's probably a cat across the road. Okay, so now that I've done this one, I'm just going to sprinkle some seeds across the top like that. This is the alfalfa. That's all I'm doing today. Okay, so you can actually see the seeds across the top. Okay, and then with my spray bottle that I've got water in, I'm just going to mist over the top to get these seeds a bit damp. And you will need to mist perhaps a couple times a day, maybe. It just depends on your weather situation. And now I'm going to do the seed raising mix. Oh, yeah, mess. That's my middle name, I reckon. Okay, so here we go. It's nice. This looks quite nice, this one. Okay, so once again, probably just a little bit from the top, because what happens is you go to cut them and you don't want them right down here, so you have to cut into it. You want to cut above the top of the soil line. So I reckon that might just do that. It actually smells quite sweet. I know, don't breathe it in. Okay, so now same thing, just get some water in there so it's damp. Okay. I don't want too much in there. That looks okay. And I'm going to sprinkle more alfalfa seeds across the top. Okay. Now, I know that these two are going to be the easiest ones to prepare. Okay, once again, there's your seeds. And I'm just going to give them a mist. Okay. Same thing, a couple times a day perhaps, just as long as your soil's moist but not wet. Now I'm going to actually get this coir block out, but I know you're supposed to soak the block, but we don't want to use the whole block today, so I'm going to see if I can kind of chisel some off to put into the tray. So I'm going to take the cover right off it. And hopefully it's not going to be too much trouble to get some off. It'd be alright if you wanted to use the whole block, but I don't, not today anyway. Okay, let me just see. Actually, it's not as hard as I thought, but this will need to be soaked. And maybe using a knife would be perhaps easier. But I'll tell you what I have right here is this dirty great screwdriver. Oh yeah, look at that. So if you can get something in there to pry a bit off, that's probably the way to do it. Okay. Okay. Now I'm not sure if that's enough, but as you know it's an experiment. Now this one here, we will have to come back to it because it needs to soak the water. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm hoping that that's enough, but I'll just, oh see, this one's got a hole in the bottom. I might actually have to put it in something else, because the water's just going to run straight out. I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've decided to put it in a bucket, and I will soak that. Now with the coconut coir, if you've got too much water, you should be able to squeeze some of that out. And in fact, you want to have probably too much in this to make sure it soaks up the water and becomes soft. But we'll come back to that. By the feel of it, maybe half an hour. Okay, I've come back, but only taken about 10 minutes to do this. So it's actually made quite a bit, that little piece that I took off. I'm just squeezing some of that excess water out, and then I'm just going to pop it all in there. I probably chiseled off way too much of this stuff. That's alright, I'm sure I can find another use for it. As I've got my garden growing nicely out there. It could be a bit better, but I'm just starting to get it under control and getting it working for me. Okay, so you can see I've still got quite a bit of this left. Look at my hands. So this one's definitely the most messy. Alright, now back to the alfalfa seeds. Once again, just a sprinkle across the top like that. We'll see what this sort of yields, and then we'll know whether to add more or less next time. So there's the seeds on the top, and yet another mist. And I think that's it for the day. I'll come back tomorrow. I'll take a video of each day so we can see how it's going, and not only that, I'll check up on when to cultivate as well, or harvest. Okay, thank you for watching.